I'm taking this trip till I get into the Trash Taste verse. Did you expect the first episode to take off as much as it did?
This is not gonna be from my...
Please, I don't want to be here.
How did these three YouTubers build one of the most impressive and unique creator brands I've ever seen with practically zero experience in podcasting? I really wanted to find out, only that I had no idea how, until I got this message. I was going to travel with the boys for 10 days straight by car through all of Japan, helping them film their new special for the podcast. Their goal would be to make it from the most southern point of the country down here in Kagoshima all the way up here to the most northern point in Hokkaido. My goal, on the other hand, was to learn the secrets to Trash Taste success and also try to not mess up their whole video with my terrible camera skills. You know, I sort of forgot to tell them about, I guess. You'll see what I mean. So I packed my bags, met the guys at the airport, and then the craziest journey of my life began.
A good smell of the countryside.
Smells beautiful. Hopefully successful.
Yeah.
Here's what happens. If you're unfamiliar with Trash Taste, it is one of the most well-known and successful podcasts on YouTube, raking in millions of views every single month. It's hosted by the three Japan-based YouTubers Giguk, CDogVA, and the Anime Man, who combined have been making content on the platform for almost 30 years and have interviewed some of the biggest creators on the planet, like Ludwig, Jacksepticeye, or Anthony Padilla. The podcast has blasted through the 1 million subscriber mark not even 1 year after its launch. It has one of the most dedicated and active fan bases on the planet and is selling out merchandise and even entire theaters all throughout the world. And the most shocking thing of all, while traveling with them, it seemed to me like the three boys are really just getting started. The very first thing I learned might already be the reason why I will never be that successful. We got up at 6:30 in the morning to drive from our Airbnb down to the Cape to officially start off the trip. Despite being tired as hell, I was maybe almost a little bit too excited to get going.
What's the feeling before the first road trip?
You woke up at 6:30, so...
Shut the fuck up. Put the fucking camera down.
All the way down here, it was finally time to start the trip officially and fly my small little drone for the very first time. I called him Jeremy. Jeremy did a great job right away, and we wouldn't have any problems all throughout the trip.
How far up did you put it?
It's there. Is it coming?
It's not coming down. I feel it's been like that for a while. Well, good thing we bought 2 drones. Rip this drone.
We're into a slight problem. The drone's stuck in the sky.
This is the first time we've lost a drone to the sky.
From here on out, it was going to be driving all north for 10 days straight. And while we were driving through the summery landscape of southern Japan, it kind of hit me just how insane the idea for this entire trip actually was.
Do you know where the hot milfs are? Are they in battery? Is that all we get?
I've heard they're on the ride. Yeah, that way.
It's kind of strange to see.
See ya.
After a whole day of driving, we made it to Oita Prefecture, where I basically passed out right away. Oh boy. It's day 3, and I'm getting really scared of the trend we're setting, because it's 5:30 in the morning. But maybe that's just that spicy secret sauce that makes your video even better, because unlike me, the boys were in high spirits.
Okay, new cowboys. How we feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling
New
ready for the second half
cowboys,
of the trip.
Oh, I thought you said new cowboys. I was like, what?
New cowboys.
New cowboys.
The new cowboys. Yeah. Not only am I about to find out how good these guys are at actually riding horses, but also I'll have to find out how good I can film these guys without being trampled by the horse. You know, I gotta be honest, I'm really happy I'm not the one who's supposed to sit on the horse.
Also, who knew, but apparently being successful on YouTube also requires working with dangerous weapons and large animals. After wrapping up filming here, I was basically running on iced coffees alone, but turns out that all these chads need to recharge after riding horses all morning on minimal sleep is a big bowl of spicy ramen. In the evening, when we finally arrived at Hiroshima, by the way, one of the most beautiful cities in all of Japan, where summer was replaced by spring, I decided to go for a little walk. There was something I wanted to see here. This is the atomic bomb dome in the middle of the city. It's really hard to describe the atmosphere of a place that carries such sadness and tranquility at the same time. After 2 days of sleep deprivation, finally staying in a fancy hotel was what I had originally expected from the Trash Taste life. Also, let me tell you a little secret that you never get to see in the videos, which is all these massive bags of gear that we were carrying to and from the car every single day. There is a lot of hard physical work that goes into making each and every one of these videos.
Also, I just want to say for a second, this right here, this is the face of someone who has slept on a futon for 2 nights, who's gotten up at 5 in the morning, and who's recorded and like driven the entire day. I'm having the fucking blast, like the time of my life, like filming and like learning from the guys, just like traveling with the boys, which is like a lot of fun, and seeing Japan, something I wanted to do for such a long time, but holy hell, I'm tired.
Day 3 starts off pretty strange because we drive to this super random German village theme park literally out somewhere in nowhere in the middle of Japan. Honestly, I was very doubtful that this was going to be fun, but turns out it wasn't all that bad after all. Apparently, being one of the most successful podcasts on the planet also has its upsides, and you get to actually fool around an entire day. And me personally, I got to use my German expertise and judge the boys' bread making skills and show off the only actual skill I have: opening a bottle of beer with another bottle of beer.
I like that it's really warm. Yeah, I give this bread a 5 out of 10. It's sehr gut. Sehr gut.
All beer tastes the same.
Trigger mono in 2 sentences. Huh, the bread tastes the same everywhere.
Yeah.
So does the beer.
After one night of bliss, it was back to a tiny trunk bed in a small business hotel, smelling like cigarettes and broken dreams, with God cutting enough wood to build the log cabin that we would go to the next day. And when I said that we were somewhere in nowhere, I meant that quite literally. Day 4, we drive only a few miles to an actual desert. Again, super randomly placed in the middle of Japan. The first lesson of the day here is that pain and injury is secondary if it makes for great content.
Oh, he's gonna hit! He's gonna hit! Oh, no, 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 no. He jumped!
Oh, that hurt my ass a lot.
Also, after Jeremy had done a pretty great job the previous 2 days, I almost crashed him a second time.
What happened?
Holy fuck. We just almost lost the drone.
Oh shit.
The guys were going so fast with the segways. Drone suddenly went from like 40% to like 20,
Oh my god.
15, 8. And I was like, no, come back. It literally like just like fell out of the air with like 0% or something.
Oh, close call.
Little did I know that the worst was yet to come. Driving into the sunset toward Lake Biwa, close to Kyoto, the landscape started changing from spring to fall with ice-cold air and strong wind. And so I thought that it would be a fantastic idea to fly Jeremy up high over the lake to get a nice shot of the camping grounds. And then this happened.
So I had a pretty big fuck up. I did underestimate the wind at some point. Like I was way too far out on the lake. Before I could land it on the ground, the battery died. So I really hope I can find the drone and that it's still alive, hopefully. And I have to kind of hurry because the sun's also setting and the guys are about to start that challenge.
Jeremy had just lost 80% of his battery in 2 minutes, and before I could ever hope to bring him back down all the way, I lost contact to him. Guys, I'm pretty sure I just accidentally drowned Jeremy in that icy lake. And honestly, in that moment, I wasn't really worried about losing an expensive drone, but more worried about Jeremy's health, and more importantly, because all the drone footage I had taken so far on this trip was still on the SD card inside him. And so after I had searched for over an hour along the shoreline, disheartened and really ashamed, I finally had to give up because it was getting dark. Now, I was sure that the guys wouldn't say anything, but they had entrusted me with filming their biggest and most expensive special yet, and I had failed them. Seeing the boys try so hard for their challenge, as little hope as there really was, I decided to go out there for a second attempt with my phone flashlight in pitch black darkness to look for Jeremy. And really, who knew what monsters were laying out there waiting in the Japanese forest?
Quack. Quack. Quack.
Oh. Have company.
While I was walking, I realized that Jeremy had actually managed to send his last known position before shutting down. And so I managed to follow that arrow to one of the spots that I'd already checked before. But then standing on a concrete wall next to the empty road, this happens.
Yeah, I think this is... Oh. Are you fucking serious? Oh my god, drone. Fuck yeah! Woo!
A bit roughed up, but otherwise completely fine, Jeremy would soar once again. And honestly, the fact that the guys had been so chill about it had taught me that you sometimes do have to take risks to get the perfect shot, just how Connor did earlier that day. Most importantly though, the euphoria of this success would give me the necessary confidence I needed for the rest of the trip. Which is why on day 6, I fly it over the lake again, out of the car, again, like an idiot. But while miraculously Jeremy didn't break, Connor kind of did.
Unfortunately, on brand, Connor has broken another thing on a Trash Taste special. He's broken himself.
My knee is a bit fucked.
Which is not ideal, so we thought that we'd allow him to go home and get checked off at the clinic just to make sure everything's all right.
The lesson here, sometimes you have to admit defeat, lose the battle to win the war. And returning to Tokyo, God also taught me another secret ingredients that the guys had as well: patience.
This was meant to be the epic road trip, and we're only halfway there, and there are only 2 remaining with Nabi. So
Yeah,
Connor has broken
2.
himself.
Yeah.
Joey has gone home early.
Yeah, Joey has gone home early as well, so we're just like stuck in traffic now.
Yeah, so now we gotta love good old Tokyo traffic.
Oh yeah.
Day 7, we start the second half of the trip from Tokyo. My conclusion so far, this can't be normal.
But then what's the process usually for like when you film like a major thing like this right now, which is like extreme, I guess, but like how do you deal with the data? How do you like, do you have an editor to like do to go through stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like for one, started planning this out properly, I think like almost half a year ago.
Not like 6 months consecutively, but since the idea got pitched, and then really getting the idea going, we definitely needed a team this time. I think every other special, we kind of like pitched the idea, and then we did a bit of the planning ourselves, and other people do some of the other legwork. This one was just, we needed a dedicated team to literally plan out everything we were going to do.
Leaving autumny Tokyo behind and driving into the northern part of Japan also meant the return of winter and snow. And so up in the mountains, we met a special friend who I think I gave the best intro ever.
So apparently Chris just got here, so I'm gonna pick him up. Hello.
Hi, mate.
How's it going?
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
You're filming?
I'm already filming, yeah.
Oh god, this is a rubbish intro.
I'm so sorry.
One of the most important ingredients for Trash Taste's success is without any doubt their massive network of fantastic people and creators that they're friends with. And really, having people like that makes it so much more easy and fun to create great content. Now, admittedly, it was a bit of a shock after all the warm weather in the south to suddenly be building snowmen just a few days later, but at least they had a fantastic hot spring at the hotel. Day 8, we start by going skiing in the morning because why not, I guess? This trip is insane. However, this all feels pretty familiar. Well, turns out that's because we literally had been skiing in the exact same group earlier this year, and it was just as epic as last time.
Look at Matthew flexing right in front of me.
Turns out someone had mutilated all the snowmen overnight though. So to save the day for Connor's tragic loss, Chris took us to this fantastic local Japanese restaurant.
Traditional Japanese cuisine. Bacon and cheese bread.
Now, this was all still pretty much fun winter because the further north we went, the real deal was yet to come.
Just about to reach Narnia, as you can see. We're about 20 minutes away.
Looks like I'm going through a wormhole.
It's like Star Wars, genuinely.
This is like the hyperspeed scene in Star Wars, right? Where they go to hyperspeed.
It's day 10 and we're now here on the northern island of Hokkaido and very close to our goal. Honestly, it was the least eventful, but at the same time most challenging day yet. Driving down monotonous roads, exhausted with the bright snow reflecting all the sunlight, made it really hard to drive for over 10 hours. I guess in the end it wasn't quite eventful enough for Connor, so we just went to this random creepy abandoned mining village in the middle of the night. I really think that it's his drive for adventure to find interesting places and things to do that is one of the core qualities that make Trash Taste so exciting. On day 10, we finally drive up the remaining few kilometers to the Northern Cape, and what a feeling it was actually having completed this task. Honestly, I could really tell just how proud the guys were and I was also just thrilled to be able to be a part of it. And of course, I also flew Jeremy one last time for the big money shot because he had really earned it. But most importantly, I had finally learned what I had come here to learn. The reason why Trash Taste is so incredibly successful as a brand and why so many people are so deeply involved with it is not because of luck or a gap in the market. I mean, those things played a role for sure, but once I actually got to spend time and grow closer to the boys, I realized that the real secret is that Trash Taste consists of 3 extremely talented and smart guys who complement each other perfectly. Connor loves taking risks, finding dangerous and crazy things to do, and brings the classic British sarcasm to the table. Joey is probably the most knowledgeable person I've ever met. He knows something about everything, especially if it's related to Japan. And he also just has this incredible energy as if he had been born in front of a camera. And Gaunt is incredibly calm and patient, especially when people around him mess up. He has this incredibly professional mentality that I really respect and a great sense of what people will enjoy watching and how to tell a great story. But most importantly, all 3 of them are incredibly authentic with what they do. They truly enjoy their work and have a crazy grinding mentality and sense of innovation. As for me, well, I found out what I came here for. I have made great friends along the way, and even if I'm still very far from their level, at least I'm a better drone pilot now. The only remaining question is, will the video turn out okay?
Okay guys, well we kind of made it to Wakana Airport.
We did make it. We made it.
What's your guys' final thought on the journey? Everything went as you expected or hoped?
I am still processing right now. I'm still just, letting it all sink in.
It was a good trip though.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. I think everything went really well. The weather was perfect. All the filming spots were perfect. I think it's going to be a really good video.
Yeah,
Big W with video, I hope.
Big W of video.